Dave Kerzner.
And I'm Matt Dorsey.
And you're watching Morow.com. Well, as you know, last year I had two different shows. I had my own solo band, and then I also had a show with Sound of Contact with Matt, Simon, and Kelly. And unfortunately, that show was canceled, Sound of Contact, and not long after that, Simon and Kelly left the band. So Matt and I were left with a sort of, what do we do? Do we carry on as Sound of Contact? Or do we, take those songs that we had that were for the Sound of Contact second record and put them out on solo albums and project albums? So Matt has a solo album that we're working on together this year. It's going to be coming out later this year. It sounds fantastic. Marco Miniman's on it. I'm on it. Matt plays a lot of the instruments and sings. And it includes some of the songs that Matt was writing for the Sound of Contact record, and then some of the songs that he wrote with me for the Sound of Contact record, and my other songs, some of which I wrote with Simon Kelly. I needed a home for them, so I created In Continuum as a project because I already sort of had my plans for doing my solo records, and I was expecting this music to come out through Sound of Contact, but with things sort of up in the air or on hold, let's say, for who knows when, I wanted to have a vehicle for this style of music also, which is more sci-fi, keyboard, prog, which I don't always do with my solo music, but I have that side that's kind of influenced by Tony Banks and Genesis and Porcupine Tree and all these grandiose bands and stuff. Called Acceleration Theory, and it's a multi-part story, so there's several albums in the works already. This is part one, Aliana. So it's mostly the story of a character named Aliana who's an alien, or it's actually not her real name, it's sort of a nickname that she gets when she comes to Earth to warn us about an invasion that's coming. And there's a deeper story to it than that. She falls in love with an Earth human named Kai. So the characters, those two characters, Aliana is played by Letitia Wolf from a band called the Dead Deads, and Kai, her love interest, is played by Gabriel Agudo from Steve Rothery Band, formerly from Bad Dreams. So the two of them, and then there's also John Davison, who plays a character from Yes, the lead singer from Yes, and I sort of play a narrator. And on the second album, actually, Matt sings and Randy sings. So they sort of play kind of some alien characters, with different. And there's there's a lot of detail to the story. It's very cinematic, very almost like a audio film. So there's a short story inside the booklet, and you can get more into the details. And the lyrics themselves tell the story as well.
Beating off your
What happened, by the way, with the story is we had a story that was actually based around Aliana, the character. It was a different story going in a different direction, and then when we decided to take back our songs, what I ended up doing actually is I took part of the Aliana story, merged it with a film script idea I had called Acceleration Theory from years ago. I've never produced the film, but I had this idea of a science fiction film about explaining why there was a sudden burst of technology in the last 100 years. And the explanation was that it was leaked to us by aliens who were trying to help us evolve. And then instead of evolving in a positive way, we used it to destroy each other, and building rockets to kill each other instead of rockets to come see them. And so we didn't accept the gift very well, and so they were just going to prevent us from blowing the Earth up. That's what the whole invasion is. It's not that the aliens are the bad guys like some movies, where it's that the aliens get. It's not like that. It's more like who are the bad guys? I mean, maybe we're the bad guys if we're the ones who are going to have a nuclear war and blow up the Earth. To them, they're like, why would you blow up the Earth? It's such a beautiful planet. We need to stop you. You're a menace. So that's the whole conflict of the story. But there's 3 albums. It's a trilogy. 2 of those albums, we're playing Night of the Prog in the summer. So the second album, part 2, will be out before that, right around then maybe. So halfway through the year. And then maybe by Cruise to the Edge next year, the 3rd album may be out, I would guess.
You're going to release one album every 6 months?
Yep. It's all recorded. I'd say about 80% of it is recorded already. So we've been working on it at the same time because they all relate. It's a concept album that, just you hear like a reprise on the second album for something from the first album. It's all, thought out overall. So, it's got a huge head start. It's a combination of Christian Rios, who does Neil Morse visuals and for other people, Christine Leakey, who did a lot of the visuals for New World, for my album New World, and Karolina Lvovska, who did a lot of the visuals for Static. So I worked with all 3 of them and then myself to create the visuals so that we had something pleasing to look at that kind of tells some of the story to go with every song on the record. And I can tell you this is an exclusive because I haven't announced it yet. Yeah, I know you like that. I'm putting together a Blu-ray with 5.1 sound and high resolution audio with the full visuals that we show behind us in the concert. A little more enhanced than that, but so that you can actually watch the story in that sense. More of an abstract way, not like a movie, but just something different. Be able to see little abstract clips of the story and us playing into Weave and Blu-ray.
Into the skies and be the light, be the light. If everything was done.
On the first record, Two Moons was originally an idea I had brought to the table for Sign of Contact, and then we worked on it together and ultimately co-wrote the song. I'm really happy about how it came out. Really thrilled. Yeah. And then there's, in the next record or 2, there should be more stuff.
Yeah.
But right now I'm being kind of, I'm hoarding my stuff for my solo record.
Fair enough. Now this is your first official solo record.
Right.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
It is. It's a long time coming. I'm excited about it. A collection of all my best stuff, I think.
Cool.
When will it be released?
This year. Yeah, late this year.
And what can we expect?
You can hopefully expect a nice mix of all of the influences that I grew up listening to. Police, Rush, XTC, Steely Dan, Genesis. Yes.
Peter Gabriel.
Who?
He sounds a bit like Gabriel, his voice.
little bit sometimes.
People say somewhere in between Sting and Gabriel in that territory.
Yeah. That comparison a lot. So I'm excited. You know?
And also, Matt was one of the main writers behind the song "Cosmic Distance Ladder" on Dimensionaut. That was like your biggest contribution, probably.
Yeah, that's my baby.
Dimensionaut. And that's, to me, knowing like that's very signature Matt style. So you get more of that on his solo record as well. I mean, for me, Michael Sadler is somebody that we've been working with, and I we've kind of struck up a friendship, and so I think we'll work with him. It's kind of like, I mean, there's a lot of musicians, and to me, it's not like a quantity thing. It's not a gimmick. It's not how many can we get, or how, who's the most famous we can get. I don't think about it that way. I think about it more in terms of like almost like kindred spirits, like people that just kind of gravitate to each other. They want to work together. They like each other's music. They like each other as people, and they get along and just kind of have like a little bit of like almost like a scratch each other's back kind of situation. Like Steve and I have that. Where Steve Hackett, where literally it's like, what can I do for your record? How can I help you? And then he's like, what can I do for your record? It's a really cool kind of thing, because you can't just like hire Steve Hackett. Like, I think I'm gonna just get Steve Hackett. It's like he has to want to do it, and I'm thrilled that he loves working with me, and we just keep it interesting. And so there's other people. I mean, maybe Tice Van Leer, I think it's getting like to that point where I think he likes us. He offered to play with us tonight. It wasn't even planned. And I played with him. I did book a Saturday with him at the John Wetton tribute last year. It was last year or 2 years ago. Maybe it was 2 years ago, but with Fernando and Tice. Maybe it was. I think I'll hit him up for some flute on something, something like that. I think it'd be great. So, but yeah, it's not. It's look, whatever happens organically, naturally, It's like, let's work together. It's such a cool like vibe, And so every time, you never know. Oh, one of the things that both Matt and I almost did, and we had this great conversation. Alan Holsworth was going to guest on both of our records, and we love Alan, and sadly he passed away, but we had a nice time talking with him.
Just meeting him, sharing a drink with him is one of the highlights of any of these cruises. What a guy, what a talent, what a genius.
Yeah. So
that's the beauty of Cruise to the Edge. Is you can just approach somebody like that you otherwise would never dream you'd be able to talk to about the possibility of working together. And you just bump into each other at the casino or at the bar or something. It's just, these cruises are great for that.
We found that, and this is really kind of cool too, a lot of the artists watch each other. And so some of our favorite musicians were like in the audience watching us and loving it. Like Jeff Downs, for instance, he loves my albums. So he offered to play. In fact, we were going to have him play this time. We couldn't do it this time. But last year, he offered to play one of my songs, which was a real honor because he's one of the reasons I became a keyboard player. And so he played on Into the Sun, one of my songs. So stuff like that is really cool too. When basically it's the other way around. Instead of you like going, "Hey, would you do this?" Like they actually kind of say, "Hey, if you want, blah, 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 I would do this." I'm like, "No, that's cool." It's yes. I mean, it all depends. Everybody's really busy. With these type of bands, it's fantastic in the sense that you really have like a super group with part Sound of Contact, part guys from Stephen Wilson's band and Porcupine Tree, Marco Miniman and John Wesley. And then you've got all these guests who play a part in it, which tonight we had Steve Hackett from Genesis and John Davison from Yes, and even Tice Van Leer, who isn't on the record, but still, like, even just the guys, to get the guys on the record. And we had Joe Denon's on, Rudy Celli doing strings. To tour with all of that would be very expensive, and there's not like the major label backing, like the good old days, to do like an arena tour or like a concert hall tour. It's not known enough yet. And prog is somewhat of an underdog genre, generally speaking. It's not played a lot on the radio. It's not, so it takes a little while for it to catch on. But but we like playing festivals. I've done cruise. This is my 4th Cruise to the Edge in a row, and I think we're going to be doing next year as well. And we're doing Night of the Prog. We did Prog Stock. So I like doing festivals because you reach a lot of new people, and and then. But that said, we are, we're looking to possibly do a European tour in the fall. And there may be an extra cool angle to it. Like we, have some all-stars or something like that for different bands, and just make it like a real special evening of progressive rock. Just in case people haven't heard about in Continuum yet. Maybe they know about Sound of Contact, but they may know about some of the guests we have, and just kind of make a really great evening. And we'll try that and see if that's going to work because to be able to tour with the caliber of guys like Marco Miniman, it needs to really be like the tickets have to really sell well and fill the place and all that stuff. So it's always an experiment. I'm willing to do it. And we get asked to play all over the place, but it's like, when is that time when, enough people in every city know about this music? So little by little, we'll tour and see how it goes.